So I worked through the exercises, and if I hadn't been able to forgive, I would have paid with my life. And of course, everybody else was there. What's the logic in it? What is the explanation for that? You are able to drink poison if you forgive, if you can truly forgive. The philosophy of the master was that what you don't have in you, it won't affect you. What you don't have inside you, it won't affect you. So if you don't have poison in you, anger and negative emotions. I have a question for you. What makes you ill? What's the cause of your unhappiness? I've just asked you before. Well, according to the master's philosophy, by now I know this is a fact. Every time when you are unable to forgive yourself or others, it will become poison in you. I swallowed my anger. I'm angry. Do you know these expressions? The person who drinks a B58 poison commits a quick suicide. All the others commit a slow suicide. Every anger, hatred, fear, worry that appears in you, and you are unable to forgive yourself or others, poisons your body. So you kill yourself slowly by that. This poison is produced by you. Please, from now on, don't blame anybody else for your physical, emotional or mental problems. You are responsible for all your problems. You create them for yourself. And don't forget, there is only one sin, there is no more. And this is the inability to forgive. When you will be able to forgive yourself, you can slowly make your body clean, free of toxicity. I'll tell you the techniques, how we did it later. And if you are able to do it, interestingly enough, your body becomes younger, your skin will be more youthful, you will be more flexible, emotionally cleaner, your thoughts will be clearer. The number of your intuitive moments, insights will increase. They will be much, much clearer. These few days spent in the desert were based on the life of Jesus and on the Bible. The Master explained many things using the New Testament. Jesus knew that men are able to do what he did. We had a conversation with Szabolcs discussing Jesus' life. He went through many initiations. He was able to walk on water. He talked about the same technique. He says it in the Bible. Read the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. There's not much said about love in them. Paul was the one who talked a lot about love. He wrote the hymn of love. It's in the Bible, in one of Paul's letters, I think addressed to the Corinthians. Rather, Jesus talked a lot about forgiveness. You can read it in the Bible. Somebody asked him, can somebody be forgiven 7 times? Even 70 times 7. You see, you can read it when people, you can read it when people wanted to stone the adulterous woman. They went there, tested him. What would be his solution? It was a 2,000-year-old Jewish law. The adulterous woman had to be stoned to death. They wanted to humiliate Jesus, like the woman. Jesus knew he had to find a good solution. That's also an example for forgiveness. What happened? Jesus told the Jewish, let him who is without sin cast the first stone. The Jews knew if they threw the stones after that sentence, they wouldn't have the grace of resurrection, because they are not allowed to lie to their master or the rabbi. We all know the woman stayed alive. He spoke about forgiveness a lot. He knew that even going back to that time, the word love didn't have much meaning behind it. How can you give meaning to love? If you are able to forgive totally, what's perfect forgiveness? It has never happened. Going back to Jesus, he was nailed to the cross. What did he do? What were his last words? He forgave the sinner next to him. Today you will be with me in paradise. And his last words are, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Forgiveness comes up again. He didn't say, love them, Father, but forgive them, Father. Even his last words were referring to forgiveness. How shall we start forgiveness? Forgiveness is nicely written in the Bible. He who has eyes to see and ears to hear will know the truth. You may still find the truth in the Bible in spite of the fact that it was edited and added to. Jesus said that you shouldn't judge. Judge not, that you be not judged. It's worth analyzing. After that, he says, and why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye and not notice the beam which is in your own eye? I'll tell you an interesting thing. If I don't know the color green, let's imagine I don't know the color green. Can I notice the color green on you? No. First of all, if you really want to start the philosophy of forgiveness, become non-judgmental. People say it's extremely difficult since every word, thought are judgments. Isn't that so? In spite of Jesus telling us not to judge, judge not that you be not judged. Well, how can you become non-judgmental? What do you have to do to become non-judgmental? When do you judge? Is it when you talk? Is it when you utter words? Yes, you're right. The words are simply conveying the message having been appeared first as a thought. So we judge without thought. How can you become non-judgmental? Here is the explanation. You see the splinter in the eye of another, but not the plank in your own eye. Don't forget, if I don't know the color green, then I won't have splinter in me anymore. If you really want to be non-judgmental, then you have to erase judgment from yourself. You have to change. One more time. You start watching your thoughts. During the day, you don't have to do anything else, but before uttering a word, you analyze it. Have you heard that the wise man, before uttering anything, counts up to 10? You don't have to count, but before uttering anything, what's your thought? Notice that it's a judgment again, and it's not a problem that a judgment appeared. Just notice it. I've asked you today how many of you were conscious. Notice that all, that you were breathing. If you start observing your thoughts, you will notice that one day will be 1,000 times richer than before. You will live so much more during one day. You will live as much as usually during one day. Start watching your thoughts, and it's not a problem that the judgment is there. At least you noticed it. One step forward, that's a tick. Isn't that so? And when you notice judgment is there, tell the judgment, thoughts, as if saying, aha, aha. You stigmatize it. Once you do that, it won't come back. Try it. Notice if a judgment is born in you. How many times a day is judgment born in you? You may practice it for a few weeks. Believe me, if you start it, less and less judgment will appear. And something interesting will happen. You will notice lots of wonders in the world. The world will be more beautiful. When you become non-judgmental, the world will be more beautiful and full of wonder. Even more beautiful and filled with wonders. Why? The mind creates your judgments. When you stop the mind, behind the mind, there is you. The existence is there. The truth of existence is there. And you will realize a lot of super things. Existence will be more wonderful. Your environment, the world around you will be much nicer because you have changed. The world will remain the same just like before, like today. It will be the same in a year too, but you will see your world differently. You will sense your world is totally different. So don't judge. Remember, don't judge. You can get rid of your judgments through observing your thoughts. You will encounter plenty of judgmental thoughts. Believe me, loads. Just notice it. It's not a problem. It is there. It has been there since you were born. When you practice watching your thoughts for a few weeks and you believe there is no more judgment in you, you will have lots of fantastic intuitions, wonderful insights, those truths. The truth lying behind everything, because the truth is behind everything. How many of us want to know the truth? Almost all of us do. But you don't know what's the truth, since you ask yourself the question and the mind is ready to give you 1,000 answers. Which one is the right one, the truth from all of those? Does it exist? Have you experienced the abundance of answers in a life situation? When you have a problem and you have 100 thoughts to answer that, and you can't decide which one would be the right choice. It is very possible that none of those, since all of those were created by the mind. The truth, the intuitive truth lies behind that, like the sun behind the clouds. When you are able to stop the mind, which judges, you will come into contact with the sun. The son which is you, that is important. The first step toward forgiveness is to become non-judgmental. As long as you judge, you cannot forgive. After the first step, if you are non-judgmental, the second step is to forgive yourself. To forgive yourself everything. If you can't forgive yourself, then you will be never able to forgive anybody. Believe me. Jesus had a saying for that. He said, love your neighbor as yourself. That's it. If you can love yourself, are you able to forgive yourself? Naturally, isn't it? So don't forget, the order is not to change. First, forgive yourself everything. Don't forget, you can't do that. You forgive yourself 99 things but one. If you're angry with yourself for 100 things, or you have 100 people who you are angry with, and you can forgive 99 but one, then forgiveness has no sense. Then you might as well be angry with all of them. There is no partial forgiveness, none. Look, you will realize it's pointless. Then the one who you couldn't forgive will get the anger energy given to the other 99 before. You will live the same thing. Either forgive everyone or no one. If you can't forgive everyone, it's pointless. Leave it behind them. Don't worry about it. However, if you were able to forgive yourself, the second step is to forgive the dead. The third step is to forgive the living. When you get through these steps, you will become a fantastic creature. You have your whole life to achieve that.